Hi, I'm Justin Vogel from SJEA. I'm the chief negotiator and I lead the bargaining team every year in negotiations with the school district and the school board. While I want to keep this video brief, hopefully around 10 minutes, I do want to acknowledge the bargaining team because it is truly a team effort and they're remarkable at what they do. Jess Bashada, Morgan Mousley, Sally Cunningham, Jen Jurek, and Chad Raisey are all teachers in the district, and we are joined by SJEA President Michelle Dillon and FEA Representative Tammy Whitaker. So let's get to the update. We are still dramatically affected by the teacher salary increase allocation. You can see we're in our third year of that now. This is compressing salaries all across the state. After the first year, we were able to get to a new starting teacher salary of $45,535. 44% of people in our bargaining unit made the same amount of money, and we were seeing similar numbers around the state, 40+% making the same amount of money in a particular district. The second year, we were able to get to 47.5. That took a little bit of additional money from the district from available funds. And in year three, you can see the difference there is another increase of $250 million statewide. There are restrictions on how that needs to be spent, and I'll cover those in just a moment. Our share of that money is of the 250 is $3.5 million. And the base student allocation also went up. So this would be new money coming into the district, $214 per student. We have nearly 50,000 full-time equivalents, equaling almost $11 million in new money. Restrictions of the TSAA all have to do with the percentage. The first one is a new rule stating that any raise to somebody on the grandfathered status has to result in 75% of that raise being added to the starting teacher pay. This makes decompression impossible. The second rule that's new is that the highly effective raise must be 25% higher than any other raise. And the third rule has been around a few years, but we nonetheless still have to comply with it as well, that the effective raise has to be between 50 and 75% of the highly effective raise. Traditionally, we have put that number as close to 75% as possible so that we don't have a huge disparity in the raises based on the category that you're in. All right, on this slide, these are the offers. This slide will take a little bit of time to get through, but let's go through the three categories. These are raises to salary: highly effective, effective, and grandfathered. The TSIA money, about $3.5 million, has to be spent on instructional salaries. So the district's opening offer, here you have the numbers, would have cost them an additional $14,742 in addition to the $3.5 TSIA money that they have to spend. Their second offer, you'll notice, is the same as their first offer. They were not willing to spend any of their own money beyond $14,700. The SJEA's proposal, we understood because we've looked at the budget. We understood that there are some pressures on the budget, and we acknowledge those coming up on a slide in a minute. But we feel like we should be a priority and receive some of the new money that from the BSA increase. The district did not see it that way, and again countered with the same offer. Then we negotiated. We had to negotiate in good faith. We came down a little bit, and we thought that this amount would be palatable to both sides. The district did not agree. This took us a few weeks to get through here, and the district went back to the school board, and the school board came up to $62,000, so that from $14,000 to $62,000. You can see that they took our suggestion to level the grandfathered raise with the effective raise, which is important to us. There's nothing that says we can't now, so we need to get the grandfathered raise up as much as possible. That actually took $13 off the highly effective raise, but it added $54 to the grandfathered raise. So the new starting teacher pay in our district, because you have to add 75% of that grandfathered raise to the placement schedule for a starting teacher, $48,209. To put that in perspective, we have Clay at 48,250 starting this year. We have Flagler, not settled yet, but it's probably going to pass. They're already over our starting teacher pay, but they're probably past 50,000 this year. Duval in the upper 48s. Putnam, the other county that we share a border with, is going to get to 47.5 this year. So of the 4 counties that we share a border with, we're going to be behind 3 of them. And we asked the school district, how does the school board feel about that? And they simply just acknowledged that they understood it. So I don't know what to make of that answer, but over here you have the number of instructional persons in each category. I do want to make a point here. The 564 grandfathered people, those people have been in our district for a long time. Most of them 15 plus years. They have professional service contracts. There was legislation in 2011 that got rid of PSCs, so you could keep it if you already had it, but other than that, no new ones. So these people have been in our district a long time, and we are going to look out for them the best we can, given the legislature's attack on them. But those are not our only experienced teachers. They are certainly, the whole group of them are experienced, but we have experienced teachers in the other categories as well. So we are really seeing an experience penalty coming from the state level that we're trying to combat at the local level. It is important to note when we can that there are no more steps. We haven't had steps in almost 10 years. In fact, the only raise that we get is the raise that we negotiate every year. And you get the raise based on the category you're in, grandfathered, effective, or highly effective. Last year, we were able to do some raises based on a number of years of service as well, but typically it's performance pay unless you're on the grandfathered schedule. There are no more steps. The only table in the contract that is applicable is the starting placement schedule. So if you see a table with salaries on it, that is only for new hires. If a new hire is coming here with 15 years of experience and they're looking at Flagler, Duval, and St. John's, they're going to see 3 different placement schedules. But we don't move up that schedule. Once you're hired, that schedule no longer matters. We only get the raise that is negotiated every year. There are legitimate pressures on the budget. The FRS increase and the $15 minimum wage in particular, the state legislature has gotten very good at this, at providing flexible dollars on one hand and telling you what to spend it on the other hand, because you have these sort of unfunded mandates. So the $15 minimum wage and the FRS increase eat up a lot of that $11 million of new money. Last year's raises did in fact dip into the fund balance, or at least cause the district to dip into the fund balance. So those are legitimate pressures on the budget. They're worth acknowledging. Other items on the table this year, we got compensation for class coverage last year in the second semester, and we continued that for this year. So if you're covering classes during your planning period, we are getting compensated for that. Now, if you're in elementary school and you're having students put into your classroom, getting compensated for that. There's also an incentive, the second year of the incentive for the Evelyn Hamblin Center, that's formerly known as the Gaines Alternative School, and the continued incentive for St. John's Technical High School, which has been going on for several years now. We do have news on the insurance front. We resisted any increase to the premiums. However, we did ultimately come to some sort of compromise. So we're going to do a 0.5% increase, which most of that 0.5% is paid by the employer. So the cost to the individual is negligible. We're talking about dollars spread out over the year. And in exchange, we're able to get a premium holiday in December. No one on the plan will have to pay their premiums. So if you're on a family plan, that's a pretty big deal, and especially right before the holiday break. Leave, Article 11, we proposed parental leave for the second consecutive year. The district is not interested. We have one other district in the state that we know of that has 7 days of parental leave. We believe that we should be a leader in this area, and the district is not interested. We did make a few changes in that article, but nothing substantial. You're voting yes or no on the entire package, so all of those things I just mentioned with compensation. If you vote yes, we'll see back pay probably early next year. If you vote no, we go back to the table. I would encourage you to vote your conscience. We have exhausted everything that we can do at the table. I can tell you that we have fought and done everything we can. It is now in the hands of the bargaining unit. It is your time to let your voice be heard. Vote how you feel. We have done everything we can at the table. Thank you for listening.